I spotted a table in my neighbor's trash. I took a closer look and then sent her this message. I got the green light and away I go. My son was helping me in the shop and he put it back together for me. This was my inspiration. I believe Teresa Tormanian is the artist. I had made a casting of the Persephone mold and the Felicity mold from IOD, and I painted them bronze, never thinking about this project, but once I cleaned it and started to decide what I was going to do with it, I saw that and made the connection. So first I cleaned, and then I turned it upside down and began to paint. So I painted all of that metal work in bronze. This is one of the Dixie Belle patina colors, but I'm not going to apply the rust patina. I'm just going to use the bronze color all by itself. It's a beautiful metallic color. I decided that rather than the band of metal that was wrapped around all the joints on that grill, that I would use more roses. So I made more castings, and I also put some on the Persephone mold and glued that together. I used that same bronze paint and I painted the hardware from the drawer. It says on the container to shake well, and you definitely want to do that because all of those little metal particles need to be combined. I used the bronze around the trim work on the table and down at the bottom as well. I did about 3 coats of this. I laid it on its back in order to glue all those pieces on, and while I waited for it to dry, I did some decoupage in the drawer with Made by Marley Magic decoupage paper, using Mod Podge to attach it. I simply cut the piece the size of the drawer, used Mod Podge underneath it and again on top of it. This is a great way to line a drawer. I poured lots and lots of roses to put in all the places that I needed to. I made several small ones for all those connections on the grill and some larger ones to go on all of the places where the furniture piece was repaired and there were some nail heads from the nail gun. Rather than countersink them and put some mud on them, I thought this kind of was more fun. I'm using Let's Resin 2-part epoxy resin. It never gets old watching the castings cure before your eyes. And it's so much fun to demold them as well. Look at the detail. Oh my. I love using clay, but there's nothing that beats the detail that you get using this kind of resin. And I also love how deep these molds are. So IOD, keep those deep molds coming because I love them. And I know that it's not just me that loves them. I had extra resin, so I made one of these garlands, not knowing what I was going to do with it. But then I thought about it, and that's the perfect time to bend it. So while I'm waiting for glue to dry, I start to paint it while it's on its back because I know that I want to glue some roses on that place where the bottom shelf meets. So I'm using coffee bean. This is a very dark, almost black brown from Dixie Belle, and I'm using the chalk mineral paint. If you follow my channel, you know that I don't always go in an order that makes sense to everyone. So I do things that make sense for me and my back. And while it's laying on its back, I use some Mojave from the silk line of Dixie Belle. I kind of wanted to refer to my inspiration photo, and I liked that color break that was in the middle there. So this to me was a good color to choose to go with the coffee bean and also with the bronze. I did that on this front surface and also on the drawer front. Now I have it standing up, and I use the Mojave on the two side sections of the front panel. This takes about 3 coats. Using the brayer again and the bronze paint, I'm now using the veranda stamp from Iron Orchid Designs. I had considered doing the Harlequin pattern as in the inspiration photo, but this occurred to me very early in the morning when I was just waking up. Hey, I'll use that instead. I started in the middle, I measured out the center and did a rose design in the center. And then I put a frame around that. And then I used the masks that are included in the stamp sets so that I could then print the trellis pattern over top of that. I used more of the Kindest Regards stamp on the side portions of that top section. That one came out a little messy. I ended up redoing it a little bit. After the sides were dry, I used those 2 sections that I ended up making of the garland that I bent while it was still fresh out of the mold. So I'm using, as I did with all of my other castings, Tight Bond Quick and Thick, and I am applying it to the edges. Because this is a vertical surface, I'm using some tape to secure it until it dries. Here's that masking technique. So I have the masks laying over what I already stamped, and now I'm coming in with the trellis portion of the stamp, laying it right over top of what I already did. Because I'm using the masks, it looks dimensional. It looks like the roses on the frame are on top or part of this trellis instead of all these lines meeting together. That's what it looked like before the trellis went on top of it. I continued to finish out the rest of the trellis on the top of the table. The next morning, I come in and take a look at my progress. So my trellis is all done. I kind of missed some spots. That's okay because I'm gonna go over it. It's also feeling a little textured, which we don't want on a tabletop. So I'm gonna do some sanding to smooth that all out and give it sort of a distressed look. There's Persephone and there's all those little rosebuds. I ended up trimming those rosebuds just because I didn't like the little stem. It looked like dripping glue. So I sand the tabletop with a 220 grit and I like it so much better. It just looks like it was naturally faded and nice and smooth. And then after I go over that and get rid of all the dust, I use a coat of satin clear coat from Dixie Belle. And this is going to just intensify the color a little bit more and give me a nice smooth surface for this tabletop. I also use it on the bottom shelf and on the legs. It's not necessary to do it on the front because the Mojave is an all-in-one paint. Remember this table retrieved from the trash heap? We'll take a look at it now. Thank you so much for watching today. If you like this content, give it a like, share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss a thing. You can also join our channel membership for only 99 cents a month and get some exclusive content. Find Statement Designs online at www.statementdesigns.org and on social media as Statement Designs. Stay well.